So a lot of you have attended the customer service revolution in the past, which we put on 15 years, in Cleveland for 2 days. So we aren't doing it this year, but what we are doing is we're having a live stream workshop, two back-to-back Mondays. And it's called Leading the Experience Revolution, where we're gonna help you build exceptional journeys for both your customer and employees, the team members. So, one of the questions I have was, would you like to create consistency, scale your business, build loyal customer base, and retain your workforce?
I'm sure the answer, John, for most would be yes, we would. But here's the reality out there. Unfortunately, this is what we see throughout businesses today. Most are struggling with a lack of standards. We see that all the time in our consulting practice, where organizations want to provide a great experience, want to be focused on the customer, but they just don't have the standards in place. They've never really solidified what those are. The other big issue we see are customer complaints, right? In some organizations, customer complaints can just kind of fall on deaf ears and never get responded to, never get resolved. In other organizations, they might resolve the complaint, but they're not doing a good job of tracking and looking for root causes and trying to put some fixes in to what's causing those complaints. Unengaged employees, that we see that all the time. They just don't have the desire. They're not engaged with the organization or the work, and that gets felt by the client, whoever your customer is. And then implementation that sticks. Something we do on the consulting side of our business is help create, but then also make sure that it becomes part of your culture, that you're talking about it on a regular basis and it sticks. And the last one that organizations we see are struggling with are finding great employees, right? Especially coming out of the pandemic about 4 years ago, there were shortages, and a lot of times it was get whoever we can in here, and organizations are still dealing with the results from that. So that's the reality out there. So here's the thing: you can keep with those struggles, you can keep doing what you're doing, or you can join us and learn how to create your signature experience through journey mapping. And as John mentioned, we'll have two sessions, two separate Mondays. One is going to be focused on your external customer, your customer experience. And then the other one's going to be focused on your internal customer or your employee experience. And so we'll dig deep into both of those. And so here's the thing, and it ties in really nicely to the sales component that we're talking about on today's webinar. The reality is, even if you have a better product than your competitors, if your service is lacking, people aren't going to stick with you. They're willing to pay more if the service is there. So if your service is lacking, consumers will actually go to an organization that has a reputation for better service.
And Dave, when
And
you say
also,
service, I think we mean experience, right?
correct. Yes, the customer service they're providing, they're focused on the customer experience. And the other thing that rings true is companies with highly engaged employees have more sales because those team members are more engaged, salespeople and non-salespeople. Sometimes it's back of house folks, but if they're more engaged, they're more likely to go above and beyond for your customer and provide better service and advocate for that customer. So overall, they're going to do a better job.
Yeah, and what I like to add here is if your clients, potential clients, can't find the experience better somewhere else, then what they're going to look for is the cheapest, right? And we
Yeah.
definitely don't want to live there. So, Monday, October 28th is day one, and the price includes both days. And this is not like a webinar like this where we're doing the majority of the talking. This is hands on for 3 hours. You're going to be working. So your one price gets you up to five people from your team, leaders, and we're gonna show you some great examples. So like day one, October 28th, we're gonna be working on you creating your signature customer experience, and journey mapping your touch points of your customer, patient, tenant, client, whatever you may call them, and we're viewing it from their vantage point. Reducing consistencies, remove employee, department, and location roulette. And one thing none of us can use as a crutch is, well, that person's newer, right? well, the experience shouldn't suffer. Okay. And that's what's so important about this. How to deliver outstanding results with average employees. And what that's meant is we don't want to, when we do this for our clients, we don't want to create so many things and so many, hard things that changes, who you hire, and that you need employees with PhDs and superhumans. It's got to be done with the average employees, and you can change the experience you have with the existing employees you have. Okay, and this is really helps anticipate and avoid service defects at each stage of your interactions, and seek and capitalize on opportunities to go above and beyond, teaching those employees what the low-hanging fruit is. And finally, create and train non-negotiable standards. That's really where your signature experience comes in, that anyone your customer comes in contact with, they're going to be do this. And I know a lot of people on here, maybe existing or past clients, who we've helped you do this. That's great. You have advantage. So if it's more than 8-12 months old, your customer experience cycle, your journey map, it's changing, it's updating, especially with technology and AI, which we're going to address. You want to bring that and work with your team and always be evolving. Day 2 is the following Monday, November 4th, from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's where we're going to be focused on creating the employee experience, the team member experience, and their different parts, from the recruiting pre-hire stage to onboarding to ongoing, 91 days to hopefully 30 years, whatever that may like. So we want to create a culture moat that prevents people from getting recruited away, our rock stars. Retain, engage our talented employees long term, and when it's not just dependent on the pay, right? Give employees something to brag about. Be an obsessively positive and grateful leader. Reduce turnover. Increase employee morale. Instill purpose in your team. So, and then finally, both Mondays, we are going to wrap up with, again, this is intensive. You're going to go into your breakouts with your team. And if you're, by yourself, you're going to go into breakouts with other people, and you're going to work on this. And then me and Dave are going to come into your breakouts and find out how you're doing and help. And this is very interactive. So then we're going to recap at the end and really provide you with the resources so you can implement this, with real life examples, the tools, digital workbooks, and then the real-time coaching during the event.
And here are your instructors, these two handsome gentlemen on your screen. And the reason we have the picture of the book up there, The Employee Experience Revolution, which came out in June and was the #1 new release and the #1 Amazon bestseller, is because a lot of that, especially that second session, comes directly from that book that we've been focused on for a few years now, and learned so many great things that organizations are struggling with that we're able to help with that focus of the journey mapping of the internal experience. So a lot of the information comes from that book. John and I will be your host for those 2 sessions. And here's what's included. Just a quick overview of what's included with the 2 days. So full access on October 28th, which is the customer experience journey map. Full access on November 4th, which is the employee experience journey map. And I wanted to point out too, I think, John, you mentioned this, but your price includes some other team members, and it doesn't have to be the same team members for both, right? You can have a couple of people that are more focused on your external experience be on the October 28th, and then maybe some folks that are more HR join for the November 4th. And as John already mentioned, there's digital workbooks for each one that you'll be able to download and utilize. So that's what's included, as well as a replay of both workshops after the event for up to 4 weeks. You'll have that access, and then support. If you're a client of the DiJulius Group, we're always here for you. But we also will have specific Q&A sessions post-event to make sure that you have all the information that you need and you're working on implementation of the things that you want to focus on.
So your investment is $249 for up to 5 people. that includes both workshops. And here's all the information you need. You can register using this barcode or email Lindsay at the DiJulius Group .com, and the website and phone number are there.